I paid 5 strangers to design a logo. Let's see how they did. A little bit of backstory to this. I'm a graphic designer and I'm always looking to increase my knowledge as well. We own a design agency, so seeing what other people do is really important. So we've given these 5 strangers who are known to be designers a brief about a product that we need to have a logo for. The product name is Trees and it's a fruit sorbet company. The idea being that there's a way of freezing sorbets or ice creams that is a lot more economical and better for the environment than we normally see. Well, Trees uses isochoric freezing. It's a new freezing technology that requires a lower amount of energy to get the same results. That is our USP. You can see the brief down below if you want a bit more of an in-depth look, but essentially what we're looking for in this logo design and branding is like a luxury premium feeling and maybe a bit detailed, but staying along a minimalistic line. So we want something completely unique. We've left the brief pretty much open for interpretation, but I think it's important to give them some guidelines within the brief. I've not seen them yet, so this will be my real reaction. The platform we're using is DesignBro, and they are an award-winning design competition website. DesignBro are a lot different than any other design competition website. They choose a very limited number of designers, which is like 3 to 5. Each designer gets paid, but the one who gets the work completed and the one who is accepted for the work gets paid a little bit more. So overall, this process costs $2,000. Okay, so let's check out the first designer. First of all, I love the idea behind this. It's pink. It shows that it's a bit more playful. It shows the fruitiness of it as well. What I love about the logo is the playfulness of it. I don't know if it goes more into the premium realm of sorbets, but the problem that you have with going overly premium is that it would take away some of the characteristics. You don't want it to look too luxurious. Harry says, the brand naming immediately inspired me to create a connection between a tree shape and an actual sorbet. This way, any product type can be easily highlighted on the packaging, used as background for the logo. I think the coolest thing about this design and the one that makes it the most unique is the leaf inside of the E. Obviously, it's a bit of a trendy name, which is going to be good for everyone, and you've shown that the leaves inside of the E, the counter, as it's known in the E, works really nicely. It's really readable, but also has the brand uniqueness in there. The typeface, again, for the logo is really legible. There's no problem reading it, but it's very chunky as well. So it gives that playful feeling. It's not like too serious. It looks premium, but it isn't too serious. Very hard to get those together. Something that looks premium, but not serious. If you look at the T very closely, there is sort of this leaf shape coming out of it, or this branch. It's a very small branch with no leaf on it. I get the idea because of trees, you know, but that little shape is way too thin in comparison to the other type. That little stem on the T is not going to be noticeable or seen when it's so small, but what I do like is just the T in general. If you just got rid of that, you wouldn't really need it. Although there's an argument here for uniqueness. The T inside the circle would have to be heavily branded with the assets around it for it to be recognizable and make people aware of the brand if they're seeing it out of context. The packaging though looks amazing as always. You've got the tree bit here. The ice cream or the sorbet is actually looking like it's on a stick, a tree. I like the typography all the way around it. But again, the only problem is there's nothing unique about any of the logo type there aside from the E's. Even the T, the icon, I don't see it anywhere on the packaging, which I would normally have a problem with. Overall though, I think they've done a good job with typeface choice and the product packaging. By the way, you guys are going to be voting for the winner of this. In the description down below there is a link, and when you click that link you can vote for the design that you think wins or that you think is the best, and that they will actually win, and we will announce the winner on another YouTube video. This next one is by Anna DS. Okay, first of all, the logo type. The logo type itself is a bit different. A lot. Gone for a different take here. You've gone for more of a, I don't know, vintage effect, which I kind of like. You know me, I'm a hand lettering artist. I love vintage type. First thing, I love the actual logo type itself, trees. It flows really well. It doesn't look too premium to me though, although that doesn't change my opinion on the type. I think it's really readable. You've got the actual ligature on the Z, which is really nice. It works super well. Readable. It's playful and casual. That's the only issue. The brief stated it needs to look premium. Again, I'll leave you guys to decide that. Does the logo have to look premium, or does the packaging have to look premium? That's a a whole different story. Inside of the logo as well, we have the organic fruit sorbet with this sort of like icon on the tea. And I guess that icon behind the tea is part of the logo itself. I like the way that it's, you know, got the organic fruit sorbet around the logo, but what you've done there is you've solidified it to just that one product. Maybe that product will grow in the future. These are just thoughts that I would normally have when designing a logo myself. What I will say though is obviously the typography for the California blend looks nice. The product itself looks really good. Obviously you got the cherry and the sorbet within the cherries. I really like that. The typeface you've used, I would love to know which one it is. So the stamp for the organic fruit sorbet is in nice silver foil, making it shiny, which is great. Obviously this logo would have been a lot better with just the logo type in there. I think having those other things around it aren't really going to help it too much in the whole branding scene. You want that logo type to just stand out wherever you are. Obviously it does already. I would just take that bit away and just maybe have it on the packaging itself. There's also a snowflake, which I guess works really well because it's designed based upon the story of the brand, which is about isocaloric freezing. So I like that you've got that in there as well. It definitely hits the nail on the head for packaging. I will say that it looks really nice. I love these mock-ups, and again, you guys know how important mock-ups are when it comes to designing and, you know, actually presenting the logo. So overall, I think the logo type works pretty well. I would stay away from having the foil bit in the back of the logo. If I was presenting it, I would just want the logo. But again, there's packaging involved here as well, and I think it works pretty well on there. Designer number 3 is Miguel. First impressions of the logo. I really like it. It's playful. I mean, it doesn't look too premium, but it's got a sense of it in there. I like the fact that the letter forms in there are kind of roughened up, they're more human, which is what it's about. The composition of the logo is really nice as well. You've got it so it's a bit more illustrative, which is what you want with this sort of brand. It's legible, it can scale pretty well. I like the arms poking up, kind of like this as a tree. So I think you hit the nail on the head for the logo. Now, unfortunately, I think the packaging doesn't look as good as the other packaging that we've seen. You've gone for a more minimalistic approach on the actual tub with the California blend, and you've got a few different fonts in there, which is kind of, to myself, it's kind of, you know, making it a bit more complicated than it should be. Generally speaking, with packaging, you want to keep the fonts to a minimum unless there's an intentional change in there of messaging. So California blend, Royal, Tioga, Black Cherry. These two are different fonts. That's a different font. That's a different font. These are different fonts. So there's a lot of layers in here. So it's kind of like mismatched. I would have rather have kept this as one font there. What I do like though is the composition that you've got going on here. You've got to remember when you're walking past something in an aisle, you need to be able to see the brand as clear as day. If you don't see it, then there's a chance that a competitor will take the awareness and essentially take the product, which is what the designs are all about, is to get people to be more enticed about that product on the shelf. I don't know why it's sort of this crimson, bit strange. I would have gone for more, I don't know if it's just like cliche, but more of a green color, blue, something like that. There's a lot of takes that you can bring into this, and again, I'm just reacting to them as I see them, so it's always interesting to see your comments down below afterwards, your ideas and what your thoughts are. Does it hit the brief? So fortunately, the only thing that's telling me that this is ice cream or like a sorbet company is the product packaging, which, you know, is what it is. It doesn't have to be too literal, the logo. But again, I would like to see something a bit different within the design to make it look, you know, like the USP. The USP says that it uses a different kind of freezing to help the planet. But that's not taking away anything from the cool design of the logo. The next one is from Hans. Let's see how we did. Wow. Okay. Again, a completely different take. I love the way that you've presented this. Actually, it's really clean and minimal. You've done it sort of like a showstopper. You've gone for a more illustrative action again. Obviously, we've got the tree in there with the snowflake, which is a bit more literal. And I know I just like said before, you don't want to be too literal, or maybe you should be a little bit. It's a very fine line. It's all about appropriation and balance. And this is why logo design is such a hard thing to master, and it's very dividing among the community as to what is good and what is bad. But what I like about this is the way that you've incorporated the logo into the packaging itself really well. Obviously, it's readable. The brand is very visible. You can see the word trees. You've just kept that very very simple. The comma at the end is like a leaf, which I like. I also like the slightly rounded nature of the typography. That's really important as well. It shows an element of being human.
Wow, that's deep. Really deep.
I've only found one error on this, and that's the R. There's a problem with this part here. Can't remember the name of it in the type anatomy, but there's a problem there. I love the packaging, really nicely done. It's gone for a proper sorbet color. I like that. It does look delicious. It's something that I would pick up. So although the logo is very basic and quite illustrative, it works well upon the packaging. I like the fact that you've got this sort of hill with the tree on it, and it just shows a bit of the brand story. And with packaging, you have a bit more leeway to do that. Obviously, if it was the logo by itself, I think you would get rid of this and it would be a very basic logo type. But again, that's not a bad thing when it comes to this. Be interested to know your thoughts down below. And the last one is from Pedro. Let's see how we did. Okay, so again, a completely different take again. I really like it. So you've gone for a very puzzling logo here, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's very unique. I've not seen this happen before. You're sort of taking this typeface and just like kind of butchered it, but in a nice composition. Again, a completely different color palette too, like that. So the logo type itself is here: trees, freezing delicious. You've got a premium aspect in there. It's a lot more playful and casual, but what I like is that you've actually got the full brief in there, such as the trees and then freezing delicious, the slogan. It's not just the logo, you've got the slogan in there as well. Color palette, different. You know, I don't really see this on sorbets, I'll be honest, but again, it's the color palette you've chosen. I kind of like it. It's got the earthiness to it. You've chosen like earth tones in there. The packaging itself works super well. The logo type works really nicely upon the packaging too, really easily identifiable. I like it. Some of this information is going to be hard to read, but the packaging itself is what people are going to remember in this situation. When they're looking for their favorite tub of sorbet or a new one, they're going to be drawn to the packaging that they like the most. And I believe that they would be drawn to something like this if you're part of my demographic, such as a designer that likes cool illustrations. I like the way you've presented this with the illustrations all the way around the side. Really natural illustrations too. They don't look computer generated. They don't look too clean. That's you don't want that when it comes to something organic. You're trying to get that feeling of natural, helping the planet, and you do that by roughening things up a little bit, making it look like it's from the wild and it's not been manufactured by a human hand. I like the way that the logo type fits on the top, on the side of it as well. Again, I've never seen a logo like this, but I guess it works super well. It's more of like what I would call a modular design, of where you can actually change this up depending on the composition that you want. So the TREE, all of them in different sizes. It still works super well. And when you squint your eyes, which is sort of like a test that I do, if you squint your eyes, you really try to have a look, it's still readable and it's still unique and legible. It's hard for me to bash on this, even though I thought I would. So those are all the designs that we have gotten. Again, these designs have been created by complete strangers. I don't know these designers, but DesignBro is the website they came from. I think my winner has got to be the last one. I think the designer, for me, the one that I believe hit the nail on the head is Pedro. I like the natural feeling of the color palette, the design itself. It doesn't look computer generated. It doesn't look too high and fancy. It looks premium, but it gets the story across. But it doesn't matter what I think about these designs. It's all down to who you guys vote for. So click the link in the description and you can go and vote for your favorite design. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below if I've missed something out. Thanks to all the designers that made this video happen, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.